Good evening, everybody. Welcome to round 6 of our 1979 DRM series, coming to you from Zolder in Belgium. I am Jason White. I will be your play-by-play announcer for this event. Drivers are already in their warm-up session, as you can see. So let's run down the top 10 in qualifying for this DRM Division 2 event. On the pole, Anders Nilsson with a time of 1:34.753. In second, just 3/100ths, almost 4/100ths of a second back, Cezariusz Lipinski. Third, Nicholas Kirsten. Fourth, David Saber. Fifth, Juha Bos. Sixth, Ian Mills. Seventh, Tim Hilla. Eighth, David Watman. Ninth, Giovanni Centorami. And 10th place, Liam Dolan. I would note that 6th through 10th on that list are normally aspirated cars. So it's not quite the domination that we've seen from the turbos up to this point. There's a little bit more competitive nature here with the normally aspirated cars, which should make it a better race for everybody. So looking forward to seeing that as we move to the start of the 6th round of our 1979 DRM Division 2 series. So here we are at Zolder, not the most remarkable of tracks, to be perfectly frank. I think most people would agree with that assessment, but it should provide an interesting challenge for our drivers this evening. This track presents a bunch of overtaking opportunities, actually. The most obvious one being turn 1 after a long straight there, or long-ish straight. And then you have a couple of good overtaking opportunities at 2 chicanes on the track. So there could be some good action here this evening. The other thing to take into account is the length of the race. This is a short sprint. It's only 24 laps, just a little over 100 kilometers. Drivers are going to have to commit themselves 100% to overtaking, especially if they try it in a chicane. And drivers are going to have to take more chances in a sprint race like this because there's less time to get ahead, less time to improve your position. So definitely something to keep in mind. And we are seeing a little bit more parity between the turbocharged entries and the normally aspirated ones, but keep in mind that turbocharged cars around here are going to have a little bit of a problem, some of them probably getting out of the slowish corners and the chicanes due to the turbo lag that is associated with those kind of power plants. We'll just wait to see how that pans out during the race. Hard to judge at this moment what's going to happen. So let's take a look at the point standings going into today's event. There they are. And as you can see, Anders Nilsson, and he's the only driver to score points in all 5 previous rounds. He leads with 70 points. 23 points back is the always quick Nicholas Kirsten. He was the winner last time out at Zandvoort. Grant Riddall, the winner at Mainz 5th, and is 3rd with 38 points. Hockenheim winner Cezariusz Lipinski is 4th with 32 points. And then we have Ricardo Mendez, the Norris Ring winner, and he rounds out the top 5 with 30 points. A quick reminder of the point scheme in this Division 2 DRM series. 20 points go to the first place driver, 15 to second place, 12 for third, 10 for fourth, 8 for fifth, 6 for sixth, 4 for seventh, 3 for eighth, 2 for ninth, and 1 for 10th. And to be classified, drivers must cross the finish line after the winning driver has finished. And the best 9 results will count towards each driver's championship total. We'll talk more about that in a second here. So let's go out on the track now and see if we can pick up somebody. It looks like Dave Miller's about to finish a lap. So why don't we ride on board with him? Find Miller here. Well, he already started the lap, so I gotta find somebody else here who's close to the end of a lap. Tim Hill is already. These guys are already well on their way. I gotta find somebody who's almost done. All right, here's Janik. He's about ready to finish the lap. So let's jump on board with Brian Janik here in his Lotus Esprit as he heads through the last chicane here. Back onto the main straight. This is the main straight here at Zolder. Crosses the start-finish line into the first corner. The Erst Links corner to the left. And now immediately it's going to be followed by several right-hand bends, and they get progressively slower. This one's relatively fast. The next one's going to be a little bit slower. And then it'll end with the Lucien Bianchi bend, which will lead on to another straightaway. Here comes the Lucien Bianchi bend. Right-hander, and you can see how much he's having to saw at the wheel to keep the car under control. Now we're heading on the back side of the course. You see the transporters over there. This is essentially the back side of the pit area and paddock area. Downshifting now for the Klein chicane, one of the trickiest parts of the circuit. You can see some skid marks there going off onto the barrier. So you can lose track of, you can lose control of the car easily. Now heading through turns 7A and 7B, I suppose you could say, but that was 7. Now heading down towards turn 8. Downshifting. Heading into the right-hander here. At turn 8, now turn 9, which is a bit of a left-right kink. Jochenrit bend, it's called. Heading back up to the Jackie X bend, which is essentially the second chicane. Left, right, and now we're back onto the pit straight, and that's one lap of Zandvoort. Let's take another look at it from the outside. And there's Janik. Downshifting now, heading into the first turn with his Lotus Esprit. Drifting out to the corner, nice line there. And as he comes through the next few corners, you can really see how he's letting the back end hang out there, trying to get maximum rotation through these corners. Heading up towards the Lucien Bianchi bend. Right here. And this will lead him to the back side. You can see the pits on the right-hand side. There he goes. Now he's heading up to the Klein chicane. Right, left, right. Good job there. There's some tire stacks there, but notably they're not too close to the edge of the circuit, which is nice. I think that'll help keep the race good and keep any unfortunate accidents from occurring while still keeping people honest as Janik sweeps through these two right-handers here. Turn 7. Now heading down to turn 8, which is one of the sharper corners on the circuit. Very sharp. Turns right here, and he's got that Jochenrit bend just afterwards. And then he's going to be heading for the final bend, the Jackie X bend. Other versions of this are kind of faster in this portion, but here we have a chicane. And that's him coming off of the last turn, and there's the start-finish area. So there he goes, a couple laps with Brian Janik to get you familiar with this course. And he's going to slow it right down there. He's had about enough of the warm-up. He's ready to go. So, coming up at ISO, what do we have in store for you? Well, the IndyCars go back into action on April 20th. We do not have a race next Sunday, but this is the 5th round of 15 events for the PPG IndyCar World Series, the Molson Indy Toronto at Exhibition Place. This is one of the more interesting and probably the better liked of the street circuits because it's not all right-angled bends. It has a unique character all its own, and it definitely is a fun track to drive. This will be an interesting one. Green Flag 2000 CEST on April 20th for the IndyCars, and then we'll get back to racing for DRM, but with a unique and very important twist. This time we're going for a race at the Nordschleife 14-mile Nürburgring for the 7th round of 11 on April 27th, and that race starts at 2000 CEST. That's going to be a very different challenge than what they've had already in this series. Trivia question for you to ponder before tonight's race. Who won the last Belgian Grand Prix held at Zolder on April 29th, 1984? Was it A, René Arnoux, B, Alain Prost, or was it C, Michele Alboreto? We'll have the answer for you later on in the broadcast. So, with 11 rounds in this series, we're essentially at the halfway point. The Turbos clearly have been the favorites throughout this series, qualifying dominated by them in most cases, except for here. There's a little bit more parity. And people might be wondering, is anybody going to be able to catch Anders Nilsson? And I think the answer to that is, yeah, possibly, if the right things happen. Two things to keep in mind. You drop scores near the end of this series, only the top 9 results will count towards the Drivers' Championship total. So even assuming Anders continues at his current clip, he will have to drop 2 results, which could definitely affect whoever is pursuing him near the end of the series. Also, the track we're going to next, the Nürburgring, a 14-mile track, we've been doing mainly sprint races all this time. So that's a very, very different challenge and may throw up a different result that would shake up the championship. So keep that stuff in mind as we go to the race session now. All right, I see what's going on here. We've dispensed with the pace car, and we're going to go with an extra lap just for formation. On the pole, Anders Nilsson, Emo Klein Racing Team, time of 1:34.753. 0.04 of a second back is second place starter Cezary Slipinski, Karl-Heinz Becker, BMW 320. In third, we have Nicholas Kirsten, Walter Brunn, number 20. In fourth, David Saber, driving the number 1 Sachs Sporting Capri. In fifth, Ian Mills, driving the number 18 car. Sixth is Juha Bos, Rodenstock Verth team number 4. Oh, that's interesting. There's Ian Mills now. Okay. Seventh is Tim Hille, Jägermeister Racing number 7. Eighth is David Wattman. I think what happened there was one guy got ahead and it would count because it's an actual race start. And he's in a Willie F Racing team number 22. Giovanni Santarami is starting 9th in his team Le Pitre Champagne number 17 entry. 16 car driven by Liam Dolan starts 10th. 11th is Dave Miller, Jägermeister Racing number 6. 12th is Rob DeVries in the Krankenberg GS Tuning number 24. Alberto Aquino starts in 13th for Varsteiner. Ray Riddall in his very distinctive Mampe Zach Speed entry number 3, starting 14th. 15th, David Yunt. 16th, Richard Wilkes, number 23. 17th, Brian Janik in the Lotus Esprit. 18th, Johnny Aces, Team Albert Rodenstock. 19th, Ricardo Mendez, Team Albert Rodenstock. 20th, Jules Bouchard. Kind of surprising to see him this far back in the grid. 21st, Simon Wattman in the second Sachs Sporting entry, number 2. 22nd is number 22, appropriately, and that is Bruno Chacon. 23rd is Grant Riddall, Team Zach Speed. And 24th, last car in the grid is Claudio Augusto, I believe. No, I'm sorry, 25th is Matthew Simeoni, the last car in the grid. So here they come off of the last turn, and we should get a green light here to start the race, or a green flag, however it works. And there we are. The race is underway. Heading for the first turn, you see Anders Nilsson in the lead, and it looks like he's going to retain that lead going into the first turn. Everyone seems to be in pretty good trim. Nobody's bumping fenders. So very clean start for everybody. Nilsson has the lead. And look at that. Kirsten bumps alongside, gets by Slipinski. Juha Bos trying to take advantage going up the inside of Kirsten. 3 wide for a moment. Juha Bos on the inside, but Kirsten is able to maintain his position in third place as they head around now to the backside of the course, heading up to the chicane. This will be very critical because this is a place where you can get it wrong very easily. Nilsson threading his way through the chicane. Schlapinski second, Kirsten third, Bos fourth, Saber fifth, Tim Hille in sixth. You can see how loose these cars are running through here, but everybody is doing a really good job to keep it clean and sanitary on his first lap. Bos, the last car in line there. Nilsson pulling out a bit of a gap already on second place Schlapinski, 1.5 seconds in fact. Yeah, all the cars looking good trim, so it appears we had a nice clean start for everybody, which is great. Heading into the last chicane. Now looking down the main straight here, we'll see the cars as they approach. There is Nilsson in the lead. Schlapinski in second. Kirsten in third. Cars already spreading out a bit. Bos in fourth. Saber fifth. Hille is in sixth. David Watman seventh. Centorami eighth. Liam Dolan is up to ninth. And then we have Ian Mills running in 10th place. Look at this gaggle of cars here trying to advance their position. On board now with Giovanni Centorami as he follows David Watman. Very good start to this race. Looking ahead here at David Watman. Coming up to this chicane. Hopefully everybody is able to get through here with no problem. It seems like people are pretty under control. It may say lap 3 up there, but for the purposes of scoring, this is lap 2. First lap runoff was a pace lap. And these cars are very, very close together. Slightest mistake and he could be in big trouble here, but check this out. Here comes David Saber, Tim Hille crawling all over the back of him, trying to find a way by. And you can see in the distance there, Nilsson still leads. Schlapinski second, Kirsten third, Bos fourth as they head up to the Jackie X bend. Threading through. Onto the main straight once again. There's Bos fourth, Saber fifth, Hille sixth, David Watman in seventh as they head back into turn number 1. Nilsson has got a good solid lead right now. It's actually a little less than it was before. It's only a second now, but Schlapinski and Kirsten definitely in hot pursuit. Bos has got pretty much a good cushion in front and behind him, but where really the action is back here. In this group of cars, we are riding now with Liam Dolan in 9th place, and you can see how it's very, very tight here. Even if he manages to advance one position, it doesn't change the nature of his driving. He's basically stuck behind a bunch of people. Whoa! And a little bit of an airborne situation there as they head into this left-hander, Centorami, David Watman, and Tim Hille just ahead. You can see Saber up there in his Capri. Heading now through another right-hander. This is at the top of the circuit. Now we're heading down towards this very, very, very sharp right-hander that leads into the Jochen Rink bend. Oh, there's some contact between Centorami and David Watman. Bit of the chrome horn being used here. David Watman looking for a way by, but probably not a good idea to do that here. He's letting discretion be the better part of valor. It's still the same at the front, but have a look at this. Schlapinski is closing on Anders Nilsson. The gap was a second. It is now down to 0.5, and not only that, but Kirsten is coming closer to Schlapinski, so he could have a battle for the lead here very shortly. Looking back at Kirsten now. Heading into the chicane. They're all right together now, the first 3 cars. comes another group. Bos, Saber, Hilla, Centurami, Wattman, Mills, and Dolan. Miller, Yunt, Aquino, DeVries. My goodness. Rush hour traffic back here. As Nilsson maintains his first place here. He's got about 0.4 of a second here on Ślepinski, but I would think that Ślepinski is going to make a try at some point here. Again, this is a very short race. We're already a fifth of the way into it. And Ślepinski definitely, look at this, he's got a good roll here. He might do it here. Here he comes into the, no, he's not going to do it here into this turn, but he definitely got a better roll off of that last turn than Anders Nilsson did. So we'll see what happens as they come through this next series of corners. He may indeed try to overtake him right before the chicane, the Klein chicane. We'll see what happens. Another right-hand bend coming up here. This is a slower one up here, but look at how much Cesarius is having to fight that wheel. Car definitely is set up to turn in and oversteering a little bit, although he has a nice exit there. Heading for the chicane now, and if you look in the mirror, you can see Kirsten just behind him, and he's not going to have an opportunity here at the chicane. Downshifting for left, right, left. Hard acceleration up over this brow, which actually gets you airborne for a minute. Not a minute, maybe a second. And now he's right with Nilsson. Can he sneak by the inside? No. Nilsson doing a good job defending himself here, although he swims a bit wide there. Cesarius does gain quite a lot right there, but he can't really do much with it. And meanwhile, you can see how much Kirsten is closing up there as they come into this very tight right-hand bend. So this is getting very volatile at the front here between the top three as they head towards the front straightaway to complete another lap. Look at all these cars back here. This is a really dicey place there. Saber actually hits Tim Hilla. Tim Hilla was lucky to get the car back under control there, but definitely there's Juha Bos. But look at all the cars stacked together, 5th through 8th. This is a very serious business here, as Centurami has a look, but cannot get alongside Tim Hilla. Here's Kirsten now looking up the inside of Ślepinski for second. But there's definitely an accordion effect going on here with these top three cars. Heading into the chicane. Trying your best to keep the car under control, but also get through there as quickly as possible. Up over the brow. Nilsson is stretches lead out again a little bit. There's this other group back here. Still very close together. Mills, normally aspirated, but he's got a lot of turbo cars around him too. Centurami having to defend himself here from an attack by Liam Dolan, who's proved to be very aggressive in this series. Coming up to complete another lap. And people really want to get alongside, but it seems to be very difficult here. We have one DNF already, and that's Dave Miller. Not sure what caused that. Look at this, David Saber having a look at Juha Bos for 4th place. Nothing's changed at the front. It's still Nilsson, Ślepinski, and Kirsten. You're looking at 4th place Bos out of the front window of David Saber. Chicane, doubt he's going to be able to attack here. Nilsson once again has pulled out a bit of a gap, but there's still very close action here between the top three. Look again at this massive gaggle of cars. Oh my goodness! Tim Hille has hit the barrier and he has lost his front wing. My goodness, and this is such a fast race that he really can't afford to go into the pits to get it fixed. Let's look at a replay of that from his point of view. This is Tim Hille, and it looks like he got tagged from behind. Let's run that back, see it again. And yeah, he did. He got tagged there by Centurami, and that sent him into the barrier, so I'm sure that there'll be words between them after the race is over. But that's very unfortunate. Now Hille has to fight a pushing car the rest of the way during this race, so very unfortunate for him. Bos still holding off David Saber and Ian Mills, although there goes David. Look at it, 3 wide around Juha Bos, and they take him both. Unbelievable. Bos now coming back on the outside, but that's not quite the right place to be to go into this corner, although maybe he can make it stick. David Saber leaves him racing room. He's on the outside. Can he get by? Yes, he can. Juha advances to 5th place. Saber going up the inside, but a little too late there to make that move. Saber drops to 6th, back where he was. My goodness. There's Miller, the first out. Here come the top 3 across the line. Nilsson still in the lead. Cesariusz Lipinski in 2nd place, looking very closely at Nilsson, trying to find a way around him. That Dave Miller had an engine go, and that's why he's out of the race, so it wasn't an accident. The only accident we've seen so far, at least on camera, is Tim Hille catching the fence, but not for anything he did. He got tagged from the back, and that's just enough with these cars to send them into a slide. Hauling the car to a stop, going through the chicane there. Now fast left-hander here. So Nilsson appears to have this in order now. Ian Mills, after all that schmozzle that went on back there, has moved up to 4th place. And he is in a normally aspirated car. So it's not all turbos today, which is good for the competition. Looking back here at Juha and friends trying to advance their position. You can see they're using the curbs in some cases there and actually getting away with it, to be honest. Hille is now out of the race, so I guess the car was not drivable after that contact at the wall. Look at Saber on the outside here, trying to place himself for the next turn, but cannot get alongside Juha. Is that going to leave the door open for Dolan to do something here as they head into this series of right-hand bends? Doesn't look like it, but Dolan looking up the inside there briefly, but man, these guys are having a hard time getting alongside each other. This is a very, very competitive race. Everybody's pushing to the absolute limit with their cars. And things have cooled down to some extent now for the top 3. So we'll focus our attention on this group, which is where all the real action is. Juha getting a little bit of distance between himself and Saber. Saber now has to worry about Liam Dolan directly behind him. Looking back from Saber's car at Dolan. Dolan has proven to be a very adept driver in this series, and he's managed to get his position advanced several times in different races as he's looking now at David Saber. Right behind Liam Dolan, we have Giovanni Centorami, David Yunt, then you see David Wattman there. All these cars really close together. At the front, it is still the same. Nilsson leading, Ślepinski second, and Kirsten in third. Ian Mills in fourth. And look at that. There's a really good scrap there for a second between Saber and Bos, but he had to back off. Look at this. Really close racing between Dolan and Centorami. Heading now onto the backside of the course through the Bianchi bend. Oh my goodness, Yunt runs wide, but I think he's going to be able to save it. Claudio Augusto also out of the race. Not sure what happened there. Into the chicane, this group of cars. Just managing to keep the car under control. Oh my goodness, Saber almost loses the car. Is that going to give Dolan an opportunity? Dolan goes up the inside, takes 6th place from Saber, and look at that. It looks like Centorami's going to advance too. Yes, he does. Centorami up to 7th place. So in just one span of a turn, just because of a little bit of momentum loss, Saber drops back to 8th. That's all it takes. Centorami up the inside. Ooh, some bumper cars there. Dolan up to 5th place. Bos down to 6th. So Dolan definitely asserting himself here. It's going to be a while before he gets anywhere near close Ian Mills, but I would not put that past him as they head back onto the main straight now. Here they come. Dolan in 5th place. And then you see, oh, look at this. Here comes Saber back for another try here on Bos. Is he going to get it done? He gets placement alongside. He should now be in the proper place. Well, no, he can't hold on to it. He falls back. Centorami trying to get Saber again, but and put him back in 8th place, but can't quite. Well, he does have the car alongside. Centorami looks like he can take the position. He actually touches Saber. Saber drops a further position down to 9th. Yunt sneaks through, so Saber's having a difficult time here maintaining pace with the people around him. Little tiny situations where he just loses a bit of control, and it's just enough loss of momentum for cars to catch up. As they come through the chicane here, yes, Saber is now being attacked by David Wattman, so he doesn't have a chance to rest for a minute here. Yunt goes by Centorami into 7th place, so his next target will be Juha Bos. Lots of action now here, lots of shifting of positions. Dolan coming up actually to lap Chacon here. Looking at the front of the field, it's still the same. Order has not changed. Nilsson leading. Ślepinski 2nd. Kirsten 3rd. Ian Mills 4th. Liam Dolan is in 5th place after those really hair-raising turns that he took a while back. Here they come now. This is the other group. Dolan, Bos, and oh my goodness, there's an accident back here. It appears somebody, oh my goodness. We're going to look at a replay here, see what happened. It might have happened on the straightaway. Yes, there it is. You can see it just there. Let's run it back and zoom in. It appears the contact occurred with Bruno Chacon, who was being lapped. There it is, yes. Contact with Saber, it looks like. My goodness, and a big, giant crash on the main straight there. Good grief. Let's run it back a little bit. There we go. Yeah, there was the initial hit, so we got to go back. But my goodness, looks like there was some kind of a miscommunication there And that's definitely Saber, who's out of the race. It appears there's several people out of the race there. Going into that section. Find Saber here, and he's going to give us the best view in the house, it appears, going into that chicane. Trying to find a way by... Oh, he tags... I don't think there's much more that Chacon could have done there. He was trying to get out of the way. He was all the way to the right, and Saber clips him on the left rear, and my goodness, that's the end of his race. And several others, I believe. Good grief. So how many DNFs is that? De Vries, Chacon, and Saber is in the pits, but he's in the garage, so he's out of the race too. Yeah, so that Saber, De Vries, Chacon, all three of those out of the race as a result there. That's really, really too bad. Back to the front. Nilsson. In first place. Schlapinski second. Kirsten third. This has not changed. Although there have been instances where Kirsten has gotten close to Schlapinski, and here's one of them. Question is, can he get alongside? He's got a little bit of a roll here. Is it possible he might get by on this turn? No, he's going to tuck in. Look at, though, Ian Mills. He's closed right up to this group. In his normally aspirated car. Oh, he missed a shift there. You don't want to do that too often. Downshifting now for the chicane. And he's having a much smoother time, I think, than the people in front of him. The question is, can he catch this group? We're way past half distance, so can he catch this group before the end of the race here and make a bid for the win? Indeed, Ian was actually fastest for a while in the qualifying session this morning, or afternoon, depends on, well, I guess it was afternoon for everybody, but in any case, he was the provisional pole sitter for a long chunk of the qualifying session until Schlapinski and then eventually Nilsson asserted themselves. But look at this. You look ahead there, Schlapinski is very close to Nilsson, closer than he's been in a while. As they head down to the chicane. Nilsson, Schlapinski, Kirsten, Mills, closing. And then we have to wait a little bit for the next group to come through. And here they are, Liam Dolan. Probably going to be a tall order for him to catch the front, but he's definitely put some cushion between himself and Yunt, Centorami, Juha Bos, and of course Saber out of the race after that unfortunate tangle with Chacon. So that's where that group is. Now coming down, yeah, Mills is definitely going to become part of this conversation quickly here. He's definitely hooked up. His car is handling very well, and it may just be that his car is better equipped to deal with the end of the race than these three cars in front of him. Who knows? Because these three are turbocharged. Ian, who started sixth, he is not. Take a look from the view from Ian's car as he closes in on the top three. That's a real incentive, seeing them in front of you there. It's a nice carrot to keep you moving. Very smooth driving by Ian as he comes through the Bianchi turn, now heading up to the chicane, flying chicane, left, right. Yeah, he's driving a very smooth race, and you can see just in that little amount of time, as you look ahead, Schlapinski right on the back bumper of Nilsson. Might have had a chance there, but did not do anything with it. Ian just kissing the curbs. Doesn't want to take too much of that, because he knows that if you put too much of the curb on the tire, it might cause something to happen that you don't want to happen, like losing control, which is obviously bad. Heading up towards the final chicane. This is is definitely going to be a 4-car battle for the win here in a very short period of time, I think, as they're heading onto the main straight now. The camera above start finish. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Mills definitely is getting closer to Nicholas Kirsten. Let's look back through the field. Here come the next group of cars. There's Liam Dolan. He's free and clear from the cars behind him. Yunt, Centorami, and then Bos is in 8th place. 9th, Richard Wilkes, and 10th, Grant Riddall. Grant has, remember, had to work up all the way from the back. He's overtaken 13 cars since he's started the race, so that's a pretty amazing feat for him, considering he was starting at the back. Oh, look at this. Look at how close things are getting here as they head to the chicane. This is the top 4, and look at that. Kirsten has a bit of a tardy exit there. Is Mills going to be able to get alongside? No, it doesn't appear so this time. But heading into this right-hander here near the top of the circuit. These three right together. It'll be interesting to see. You know, I have no doubt that Ian's going to try something. It's just a matter of where. Where is the best place for him to do that? He's waiting for the opportunity. But all it takes is for the cars in front of him to make one small error, and the roll is just a little bit less, and he can get alongside and place the car for the next turn. I'm shifting for the final chicane, the Jackie X bend, they call it. Onto the main straight once again. Drivers absolutely putting everything on the line, just driving at the absolute limit of adhesion to stay ahead of the other. Looking back from Nilsson's car, you can see how close his pursuers are. Chicane. You can see the cars bouncing there as they take that section and get airborne slightly into, look at this, Schlapinski very close to Nilsson now. He's just been seesawing back and forth. Juha Bos out of the race. How did this happen? And it appears it's an engine letting go. Yeah, that you can see the flame there. Juha out of the race with a blown engine. It's too bad.
Yeah, so I'm joining you, Jason.
Oh, there you are. Sorry about the barbecue.
Oh, well, I suppose it was bound to happen at some point.
Yeah, well, we've got a really interesting race at the front here. Nilsson leading Schlapinski and Kirsten. The interesting wrinkle is that Ian Mills has been closing on them consistently.
Yeah, he's very fast in that non-turbo car.
Yeah, he's driving a normally aspirated car versus the 3 turbos up here. He's been closing on them very quickly once he got free of the second group of cars. Oh, and Little Al's out of the race. Wonder what happened there. Let's see if we can catch it on the replay. No, it's too far back, it looks like.
It was an accident. He lost it entering the chicane.
Oh, jeez. Right, here come the lead 4. Look at this. Kirsten is defending himself alongside of Mills, and it looks like he's going to maintain the position going through the chicane. But Mills is definitely the faster car. There's no question. And a little bit of a gap has opened up now between Schlapinski, and that's a result of that battle that occurred. So now Schlapinski looking mainly forward at Nilsson to see if he can get alongside. He's gotten close to him over the course of several laps, Juha, but not to the point where he can put himself alongside. Nilsson's been leading this race from the very beginning and just been very, very hard to... Oh my goodness! It looks like Ian had a bit of a moment there. That cost him some valuable seconds. He's actually dropped way back now of Nicholas Kirsten. He's still in 4th place, but my goodness, that cost him a lot of time. And this under acceleration there, the car just kind of lurched for a moment and he lost a lot of momentum. So he's got some work to do if he wants to get back with that group. So there's now, I believe, 5 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, we're on lap 21. Oh, Slapinski spins.
Oh, no. Slapinski is spun. Oh, my goodness. All the way down to 4th now. Can he rejoin? I don't think he hit anything.
No, he didn't hit anything. Just
No, but
went
he
to
did,
grass.
let's take a look
And
at
there's Liam Dolan passing him now.
There's a replay of what happened. It looks like the rear just gave up on him. Oh, he went up on the curb. That's what was the catalyst. And he slides into the grass. So, but luckily for him, he didn't hit anything. But man, that kills his race as far as being up at the front. So that promotes Ian Mills to 3rd place, Kirsten to 2nd, and they're a bit further back from. This has actually kind of added some insurance for Nilsson. He's not under direct attack from anyone anymore. So if Nilsson can keep it clean, he may cruise home to the victory here. But yeah, that was that spin there basically iced the race for Slapinski. He was the best chance to unseat Anders Nilsson from the lead, but
yeah, Kirst isn't too far away.
Well, he's had most of the time. From most of the race, he's had Slapinski in front of him. So this is the first time he's been in direct contact with the leader. I'm not sure that what he's going to be able to do here with only 4 laps to go. Meanwhile, looking back at the other group here, which has fallen pretty far behind, Slapinski is with Dolan right now, and Slapinski trying to recover something here. He's still in the top 5, but sees Dolan right in front of him and wants to try to get that 4th position at the very least. Yunt is in 6th, 7th Centorami, and then you've got this good battle going on here between Wilkes and Grant Riddall. Grant has had an incredible race. He's come up 14 places since the start in his escort. So here they come across the line once again. I wouldn't be surprised if Grant makes a stab at 8th place here before this race is over. Going back to the front here, it's about the same, hasn't changed. I think the most likely thing to happen at this point is going to be Mills challenging Kirsten for 2nd place. Nilsson's just been silky smooth the whole way through. Hasn't put a wheel wrong since the start of the race. I was mentioning too, Juha, that the next race is going to be a very, very different challenge. Most of what we've done in this series up to this point, save Hockenheim, has been short sprint races on smaller tracks. Now we're going to the 14-mile Nürburgring, which is a very different challenge, and may shake things up in this championship.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, me too. Anything having to do with the Nordschleife is intriguing and fascinating, and I can't wait for that. So 3 laps to go here, and Kirsten is closing a little bit on Anders Nilsson, but I do not believe it's enough to really make an impression. Oh, look at this! Slapinski, alongside Dolan, gets 4th place, right at the right at turn 1 apex. Just got an
And there was somebody retiring. I think it was Simon Watman, the Capri.
Yes, Simon Watman, there you see him in the distance there with the smoke coming out of the Capri. Simon is out of the race due to a blown engine. That's too bad, but Slapinski here definitely showing that it was just a small error on his part. The car is still very competitive. He gets by Liam Dolan. Too late for him to challenge anybody further ahead, but I kind of figured that Slapinski would be fighting back here, and he has gotten past Dolan for 4th place. Yunt is in 6th place. Centorami 7th. And this battle between Wilkes and Grant Riddall is raging on for 8th place. Very close action here between these two. And as I mentioned, Grant started way at the back. Here he goes up the inside. Is he going to be able to take Richard Wilkes? No, it does not appear so. No, Wilkes has got superior horsepower and stays in front of Grant Riddall as they head through the chicane. Mills right with Kirsten now as they go into the penultimate lap. 2 laps to go now. It's going to be, as they say in NASCAR, show and tell time here. Mills looking for a way around Kirsten here. He's driven a fantastic race, Mills has. We got to get him a car in the IndyCar series.
Oh yeah, it is an impressive performance considering the car is less power than the other ones.
Yeah, he's and I've watched him on board, and he's just again very similar to Nilsson, just silky smooth in his driving style, not choppy like a lot of the turbocharged drivers, and that has mainly to do with just the. And look at this, he's alongside now, going into a left-hander. Is he going to get it done? He squeezes alongside, and to his credit, Kirsten gives him racing room, but he can't quite do it. That was a real opportunity there, and there may be one more like that he might have on this lap.
Well, he's giving him one right there.
Yeah, right now, definitely. He's going for the outside, but that's really not where you want to be. Kirsten successfully defends.
Yeah, but he cuts back.
He comes back. Yep. But we're heading into the final lap here, and Nilsson has got the $75 seat for all this. He can see all of it in his rearview mirror, and he just wants to get home dry and with the 20 points. But here they come through the last chicane. Pretty good exit for both there. The final lap of this 24-lap contest at Zolder. Heading into the first turn, pretty much the same way it's looked most of the race. Looking from Mills' car. Downshifting. It is really remarkable what he's been able to do with a normally aspirated car. Looks like he has a bit of a roll on Kirsten here. He might be able to get him at the chicane if he can maintain this roll. Look at that. Oh, Kirsten off to the side. Kirsten off to the side. Mills goes to the inside, takes second place. Beautiful, opportunistic driving.
I wonder if Kirsten's going to turn out the boost now. I think we know the answer already.
There he goes onside, but Mills is much better placed for this chicane. Is he going to hang on? No.
No, look. Oh, he can get him back now on the exit. Yes.
He's got. Oh, no! Oh, he broke the front wing. Dang. That's going to cause the car to push. And
that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's going to end that race. So it looks as if that just iced the front of the order here, assuming nothing else happens. But my goodness, Mills has driven a great race. He can probably motor home to third without any problem. Because he's got 6 seconds between himself and look at this though. Look at how close Kirsten is. Oh my goodness! Nilsson's out of the race. Blown engine. Blown engine.
Oh
and
no!
Kirsten inherits the lead on the final lap of the race. The leader for the entire race. Nilsson has his engine let go, and Nicholas Kirsten, in an improbable, unbelievable turn of events, is going to win. Round 6 at Zolder. Incredible. And Mills finishes second.
Slapinski third, Dolan fourth.
Yep.
Yunt fifth.
Yunt finishes 5th. Centurami 6th.
And Grant is on Wilkes' bumper, but he's suddenly slowing down as well. I think he may have missed a gear.
Yeah, Wilkes is classified 7th. Grant is 8th. 9th is Bouchard. 10th is Sibignani.
Well, across the line.
11th is Janik. I know they have to cross the line. Here comes Janik now, and to finish 11th in his Esprit. And then you've got Ray Radal not too far behind. There's Ray crossing the line for 12th. And Johnny Aces will take 13th. And I believe that is Ricardo Mendez 14th. 15th, and missing a front wing also is David Wattman, 15th here as he comes across the line. But what an incredible turn of events. There were only 2 corners to go. And Nilsson's engine just gave up. All he had to do was get through the Jackie X bend, and he was home and dry. And the engine just 2 corners too many for that engine. Unbelievable. And that's that's the kind of thing that that took him right out of the points. He's classified, well, maybe not classified, but he's 16th on the chart. And I was mentioning earlier that he's leading the championship by 23 points. That throws it wide open all of a sudden. We're back to a point where it could be very competitive, and we're going to a very interesting venue next. So this championship is far from over. This last minute situation with Kirsten winning and Nilsson going out, that definitely changes things. So if we thought the championship was over, it is not. My goodness. What an exciting race, and definitely an unexpected finish. So yeah, next we go to the Nürburgring. Who in our group here would we consider ringmeisters? Because we always have a few in any league that have driven the Nürburgring many times and just have more experience with it than anybody else. How are your Nürburgring skills, Juha?
I've won there twice last time we ran it, so...
Oh, well, there you go.
I don't know how I've got my skills are, but at least I won around it. I think I know my way pretty well around it, but I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Well, I enjoy driving there myself. I finished second in class one year there, and sixth in another race. I think it was for F1 in the late 60s, but it's such a fascinating, exciting course.
Oh yes,
definitely. I mean, it's just mythical, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch for sure. It'll be hard to keep track of all the action, that's for sure. But in any case, we mentioned that race that's coming up on April 27th, Sunday. The race start will be at 2000 CEST. And that's round 7 of 11. So we're closing in on the end of this series. But after today and the finish that you just saw, I think definitely it's still up for grabs, the championship. And then coming up a week ahead of that, on the 20th, we go back IndyCar racing. This is the last IndyCar race before the big one of them all, the Indy 500. The Molson Indy Toronto, round 5 of 15 in the PPG IndyCar World Series. Green flag at 2000 CEST. I mentioned before, this is not your typical street course. It has a lot of interesting radiused bends and a hairpin, and it's a lot more fun than your standard right angle bend street course. So I think it'll be fun for the drivers and very exciting for people watching at home. Trivia question we must do before we close out the broadcast. Who won the last Belgian Grand Prix held at Zolder on April 29th, 1984? Was it A, René Arnoux? Was it B, Alain Prost? Or was it C, Michele Alboreto?
My God. I'm going to say Alboreto.
Yeah? Okay. See if anybody else chimes in here on the chat. Time is up. I don't see anybody here. Well, guess what? It turns out you are correct. It was Michele Alboreto for Ferrari. So way to go.
Well, at least I won something.
Yes, you did. All right. Well, thank you also for joining me in the booth. I really appreciate it. Added a little bit of spice to the end of the race, but that was definitely not the result we were expecting to happen. I mean, that's the one thing about this series that I've found interesting. We always love to say, oh, wait out, there's going to be a lot of teapots blowing up here. And we really haven't seen too much of that in this series. It's actually been kind of atypical. And with what happened to Nilsson there, that was definitely a big surprise. But he had everybody covered most of the race, and then just right at the end there, just all that effort goes up in smoke, literally. But yeah, next time out at Nürburgring should be really interesting. Thanks again for your help in the booth, Juha. And thanks everybody at home for watching. This is Jason White saying so long from Zolder. We'll see you next time, everyone. Take care and be safe.